Hello, this is Champ Focus, and I'm Gambino. And this week we got Derek Lewis versus Chris Dawkins, and I mean there's 13 fights. We lost Raoni Barcelos versus Victor Henry. That was going to be a good fight. I had Raoni on that one, just based off of the fact that he had a full camp, and Victor only had a couple days notice. I believe it was about a week. Um, But yeah, let's get to it. There's 13 fights and not too much time. So we got Jordan Levitt versus Matt Sales. I'm going with Matt Sales. Uh, uh, just Jordan Levitt looks a little bit too one-dimensional for me. He just seems kind of like a blast from the past, just a fighter of the old, like a Damian Maya kind of. Just he's really good at the grappling, but he doesn't really have the wrestling. A lot of the time, his opponents just fall where he needs them to be. Um, I didn't see any strikes really. He threw a couple kicks in his fights, but it was mainly the grappling. He mainly wants to grapple with you, and he himself can be taken down and held down. He doesn't mind just laying on his back. He's not very active. He doesn't look for like an arm bar or he'll just lay on his back. And then there's moments where he should be scrambling and he's not. He's just his will to get out of a bad grappling position isn't isn't very high. And I see Matt Sells as somebody that is going to have that urgency, and he's going to be the better striker. I mean, by by a long shot. And what's that guy? I think some people already are picking him as a favorite. I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that he trains with Dominic Cruz. He's getting a little bit of a rub there. He's good at rolling with the punches. He's a stick and move type of fighter. He stays measured with his distance, likes fighting at kicking range. His cardio seems good, and he seems very good at staying measured while he's hunting. Um, and yeah, I like the aura that is projected and the ultimate connection to strikes. It's nice. So I'm gonna pick Matt Sells to win it. And on to the next, we got Dontel Mays versus Josh Parisian. Oh, and also I could not get the odds for these fights, at least for like inside the distance. So I'm gonna have to leave those out. Well, on the last card of the year, I know it's sad, but it just had to be done. It's just how we got to do it. Guess minus 125, the slight favorite. Matt Sells hasn't fought in over 2 years. The last person he fought was Bryce Mitchell, who's a way nastier fighter. I mean, Bryce Mitchell has, I mean, he can work with his striking and has the wrestling, and I just didn't really see that out of Jordan Levitt. So Matt Sells, see what's up. Next. That's all I know. Dontel Mays versus Josh Parisian, 8-4 versus 14-4. Lost to Parker Porter by decision. I think it should be pretty similar to this Parker Porter fight, but Dontel is gonna hit a little harder. Dontel Mays, between the two, he seems to be the one that stays more composed and measured in his fights. He keeps it long range. He uses his deep kicks. He's a southpaw fighter, but he can switch stances. He himself has a trip takedown from the clinch, but he is a striker. Likes being at kicking range. Uh, he's gonna have the better footwork between the two. He's a stick and move type of fighter, and with his big punches, anytime the opponent tries to cut the distance, he's gonna make him pay. So I'm liking Dontel Mays to win the fight here. I know a lot of people were thinking Josh Parisian has a good shot. He is a big guy. Um, he has the tools, but he doesn't necessarily use them correctly. Um, he's somebody that lets the opponent get too many shots in, and so I just can't I can't pick Josh Parisian because I can see him just falling into the clinch and letting Dontel Mays beat the shit out of him. So um, I think Dontel Mays will be the more technical fighter here and has fought the better opponents, even though they both fought Rocket Martinez. I'm gonna stick with Dontel Mays here to take the win. Yeah, and on to the next. See what we got. His first couple fights aren't very exciting, to be honest. Raquel Pennington versus Macy Jason. This one was a little hard because Jason, she's pretty good. I mean, she's an up and comer. Raquel, 33 years old. I mean, Jason ain't really that much younger. And she kind of likes to do. I'm picking Pennington, by the way, Raquel Pennington, and I'm picking it because of the experience, and the way that Macy likes to fight. Like I just she's new to being able to use her range. She doesn't really use it very well in her fights. She's got a 72-inch reach, and it's 5'11", but she doesn't really use it. She just kind of falls into the clinch, and that's how she likes to fight, is in that clinch. And so does Raquel Pennington, and I just think Raquel is going to be the more experienced fighter in that scenario. And when Raquel gets taken down, she tries to get back up. Macy Chase on doesn't mind laying on her back. You know, that's something I didn't like about her. Raquel's gonna be the stronger fighter here. She's gonna have the power advantage, I believe. Macy is um she's quick. She's gonna have the speed advantage. She's good at keeping well, she's not good at it, but she's getting better at staying measured. But you see that in her most recent fight, so she, it's something new that she's learning. So, wow. But even in that fight, she falls right back into just her old self, old Macy. New Macy is trying to keep her range, but old Macy falls into the clinch, and that's what's gonna end up happening when Raquel puts the pressure on her, tries to bully her. So I'm picking Rocky here, and yeah, she's the favorite. So 2-1. I mean, Macy's good. I wouldn't be mad at anybody for taking her. If you're thinking about picking her, she ain't bad, and you get her at decent odds. So, but I'm sticking with Raquel here. Moving on up the card. It's cold in my room. Whew. Um, Jourdain versus Andre Ewell. I'm gonna be picking Charles Jourdain. Um, he's gonna be the younger fighter here by like 7 years. Let's check it out. These two, they're pretty similar even in record. Jeez, I mean, Andre Ewell is. I like Andre Ewell actually, but he's mainly a boxer. He tries to fight from kicking range, so he's just pretty much open at everything. Just kicks to the legs. If and he has a bit of a wide stance, so he's crouching a lot, and then so knees are just flying up. Like Jonathan Martinez was just timing him, and I don't know how he won that fight. He should have 3 losses already in the UFC. Oh, he already does. He's got more than 3 losses in the UFC, but yeah, I can't pick Andre Yo. He's just doesn't have enough to offer Charles Jourdain. Charles Jourdain's gonna have the kicks. He's a southpaw. Andre Ewell, he can switch stances. He can go back and forth, but prefers to also fight out of the southpaw stance. Charles Jourdain, and these both of these fighters are they're counter strikers. This is a it's a tricky fight, but I'm definitely gonna stick with Charles Jourdain. His body's open. That's the one thing about Charles Jourdain. His body like he shows up a lot, and when he shows up in that Julia Rosa fight, Julia Rosa was just fainting him, and as soon as Charles Jourdain would shell up, that's when he would do his damages. When he would shell up, because Charles Jourdain was no longer throwing out offense. He was open. He was a punching bag. So it's a it's a bit of a difficult fight, but I'm gonna go with the younger fighter here, the hungrier fighter, um, Charles Jourdain, to get the W. Hasn't been finished in the UFC, I believe. Yeah, recent fight. That's right. He got choked out. Has it been knocked out though? And I can't see Andre Ewell trying to actually choke out Charles. So we're gonna go with Air Jourdain. Next, we got Sijara Eubanks versus Melissa Gatto. And so far, it's been nothing but favorites, I believe. Favorite, 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 favorite. And this is going to be my first dog. I'm going to go with Melissa Gatto. I like her. She's also the younger fighter here. Um, but she's active. Like not in her career, she's not active, but in her fighting style, she's very aggressive. She's got a fast jab. She's her she oh yeah, she's got a aggressive grappling. Uses her submissions frequently. I believe they both of these ladies like like to grapple. I would say that that is their strong suit. But I still think Melissa is gonna have the edge here. Um, she sometimes will lay on her back for a little bit, but she also will like if that happens, she'll just stand it up. Like she did that in her last fight. I think Sajara is gonna be looking to keep it standing, but we'll be going for panic wrestling, and that's when Melissa is gonna capitalize. Um, I like seeing her at a plus 135. She's the younger fighter by 10 years. Cesaro has all the experience, but Melissa, I mean, she beat Carol Rosso by submission. This win could have gone. Victoria broke her arm. It was a previous break. She just re-broke it in that fight. So I mean, but she was looking good in that first round, and she was looking decent with the stand-up. But she was fighting a girl with a broken arm and didn't finish it. So it's hard. I wouldn't be. No, no. I like Melissa. I'm sticking with Melissa Gatto. She just seems like the more promising fighter to me. Sh and both of these ladies don't really throw kicks, so they're both going to be boxing. Cesaro might have a bit of an advantage there, but she is also the slower fighter, so it just kind of evens out as far as the striking goes. But the grappling is where I believe Melissa will have the advantage. And shit, I could be completely wrong. Maybe Cesaro just ends up, you know, um, submitting Melissa, and I look like a fool. But I don't see that happening. I think Melissa's gonna get it. So we got Gato to take the dub. Moving on there, on to the next fight. What we got? We got Justin Tafa versus Harry Hunsucker. And at first I was, even now I'm tempted to try to pick up the Hurricane here, but I mean, especially at plus 260, Justin Tafa is. I don't know why he would be a minus 335. I believe it's just they don't want you to pick him up. They really don't want you to choose him. But I don't think I don't think this guy, the Hurricane Harry Hunsucker, is UFC material. I think I think Justin Tafa is more potential out of these two gentlemen. Out of these two, so I'm gonna be going with Justin Tafa. Um, he does have some things to be like we should be worried about. He lowers his left hand when he's pursuing, um, and especially if he's wanting to throw his a right hand with his chin in the air. He prefers to fight southpaw. He does use a leg kicks. He has almost no footwork, and really his best moments in his fights are when he's counter striking. He's got difficulty cutting the range, and he can be smothered by by quantity. So he's if a fighter's just throwing punches down the middle, just peppering him, that's enough to stifle his offense. Loves those hooks. He does have a jab, but he loves the hooks. Sometimes he wastes a little too much. And it just feels like he doesn't throw enough output, and but will be I do believe he will be the tougher and the more technical fighter out of the two. So I'm gonna be going with Justin Toffel here. Um, Hunsucker, I don't know, man. He doesn't seem to get out of the first round, so he's a feast or fathom type of fighter. He's either gonna knock you out or so. I mean, him inside the distance. it would be a good bet. I can't see this going, or maybe even the over 1.5. I can't see that happening either. I see somebody getting knocked out here. It's just that Justin Hoffa's lack of footwork. Seems like it could be a slow fight while these two two big punchers just kind of stare at each other. Um, Hunsucker, he's heavy-handed. He does use the calf kick, but he himself is also open to the calf kick. He wants to bully into the pocket and throw bombs. And he, to me, kind of panic strikes similar to what Amanda Nunes did against Pena, where she probably should have took a shot, level changed, backed up, but instead they keep striking. They want to give one, and that alone could get him knocked out. So always pushes forward. I'm gonna be going with Justin Taffa. Just seems like this is lined up for him to get a KO. On to the next. It would have been Rayoni, I believe. A lot of people were picking Victor Henry. I mean, I can see why. I know why he is good. He is good. He's got a win over Kyler Phillips. He's got quite a motor and has a lot of output. It's gonna be fun to hopefully they reschedule that fight. Hopefully we get to see him soon here. But it looks like now we got Gerald Mearshart versus Dustin Stoltzfus. And I'm gonna be going with Dustin. Um, uh, I'm gonna start off with Gerald Mearshart, but I am picking Dustin. Gerald Mearshart is a southpaw, hands down. When he's trying to fight, which is crazy because he's chinny. Well, he's not chinny, but he's got him putting down, and he's there to be hit. It's not like he has a whole lot of footwork, and he'll just throw desperation takedowns to talk about from a mile away. It's just a very slow strikes. He'll probably have the power advantage, but just very slow and sluggish. When he tries to cut the distance, his chin is up in the air. Not a lot of output. One shot at a time. It doesn't have the wrestling to get the takedowns. He uses more of like a body clinch, trip, not necessarily like I guess Greco-Roman type of wrestling. Not a. It's not gonna get a single and take you down or double leg blast down the middle. So I'm gonna I'm gonna be going with Dustin. I think he just seems like the tougher fighter, the hungrier fighter here. They both like to grapple, but I think Dustin's gonna his he'll have enough grappling defense to be able to get the W here. I think he'll be able to get away from Gerald Mearshart, keep it standing, where he'll have more success. He throws a lot of output. Well, I mean, in bursts, he switches stances, wants to put pressure. He also pummels for the underhooks and tries to break. Not a lot of not a lot of footwork or head movement, but I still like him over Gerald Mearshart. I guess you know fading Gerald Mearshart. I don't think he's as good as I don't know. He did have a good last two wins. Dustin has been losing. Plus 190. Let's check it out. 30 years old. Lost to Rodolfo in the third round. You know, I feel like that fight wasn't too bad. Drumir Shark, 34 years old. Just beat Makhmud. Just beat Bartoza Fabinski. It's just Gerald Mearshart does not impress me. And I don't think he rocks Dustin the way he rocked Mahmoud. Damn, I could be completely wrong, but I'm going with Dustin. I'm going with Dustin Stolfus here to get the win by decision. I think he gets a decision win. I don't think he knocks out Gerald Mearshart, so bet him straight up. Let's see what we got next. What do we got next? All I know. It's the way it's got to go. Darren Elkins versus Cub Swanson. See, this would be a good. I'm tempted to just get Gerald and get Elkins because Elkins is a good underdog, but I'm gonna go with Cub Swanson here. Even though Cub Swanson has been choked out in a lot of his fights, I th- I think a big way Darren Elkins gets that choke is by tiring his opponent out. Looks like they got the same record. But look at the opponents this guy's fighting. Ricardo Lamas, Ryan Hall. Like, how do you lose to Ryan Hall? And he got beat down by Nate Landwehr. And I can't see Cub Swanson getting humiliated like that. I can see him getting choked out, but not outstruck that way. I mean, he got body kicked, but I mean, that was just a good kick to the liver, put him down. Wasn't necessarily a beat down. I like Cub Swanson here, even though Darren Elkins seems to have been the more active fighter as of recent. I just think Cub Swanson's had a tougher path. I'll start with Darren Elkins though. Darren Elkins stays on the outside, will level change into a single, plan B body clinch into a triple. He does have little feints, a double jab into the overhand right. Can take a shot, stays in the pocket after an initial strike to get countered. So like his head movement also is trash. He loves the wrestling, tons of pressure and pace. Looks to out cardio his opponents. Hands low, open down the middle. He's really good in scrambles. Really good. He's just his cardio. You know, he's just not worried about getting tired and knows that you probably will. He looks for subs, aggressive, smothering, and also looking for submissions. A solid submission defense and relentless will. Wants to go forward. You know, reminds me of Aaron Blanchfield of last week, just wanting to go forward. And I think if he wins, he's gonna win by submission. That's his path. That's what he wants, and that's how Cub loses. So, and that's why you would pick him. That's why he's tempting to pick. But I'm still gonna go with Cub Swanson. I think he won't get tired. In his fight against Kron Gracie, I think it was similar. It was he fought somebody who wanted to choke him out, who he had already um, uh, competed against in Brazilian jiu-jitsu competitions in Crown Gracie, and he stayed on the outside. He used his feints. He kept switching stances. He stuck and move. Um, he, he stayed in that kicking distance. He kept his hands down, similar to that Wonder Boy style, but not the whole time. He does have a guard, and he can fight going backwards, which is like pretty tiring. He's got a high output. He's got the ability to pick his opponent apart from the outside. Active feet. He will have the cardio. Has fought 5 rounds before. These are two veterans. He's gonna have a game plan. I think the last two fighters Darren Elkins fought, one guy, Derek Minner, another guy that lost to Ryan Hall, and he could have beat Ryan Hall, but he's just didn't have the IQ to just stay away from all that grappling and conserve his energy and grapple appropriately. Eduardo Garagori, another guy who's just not very versed in the grappling, who's all day for Darren. And now he's getting somebody who's versed in both and really a, a better striker's and speed is what has gotten into Cub. And I don't think Darren Elkins is going to be that guy. So I'm going with Cub Swanson. Shit, what the fuck am I? That's right. Next fight, we got Diego Ferreira versus Mateus Gamrot. This is probably the hardest fight out of all the fights on this card. As I'm about to give my pick, I'm tempted to go the other way. I'm gonna be picking. I'm gonna be picking Mateus Gamrot. I do like Diego Ferreira. I think this is gonna be a great fight. I think the striking is gonna be good. I just think that Mateus is able to the intensity that both men can fight at. I just think Mateus can keep that intensity longer. Not necessarily that Diego is gonna gas out, but the consistency of that intensity, I think that edge goes to Mateus. Oh man, it's hard. It's a hard fight, especially when you see that he lost to Kutulads. You see that Mateus lost to Guram, and I'm pretty sure Guram was in on short notice, but after that, it was two impressive fights. Mateus, I will start with Diego here. He's got an educated left hand, long range high kicks, attempts to slip punches, and he gets hit, but he some Darren Elkins just doesn't try. So, he just lets you hit him in the face. Diego will try to slip punches. He's got tons of forward pressure. His opponents are usually on their heels, so him going backwards doesn't happen very often. Double jab right, high kick ability to switch stances, slick takedowns. He's got solid takedown defense. Will pull for guillotine, and I think that's why I'm. This is why I got notes, because honestly, you watch all these fights, you forget all. I kind of forget exactly what I was thinking, but as I'm reading this, I'm thinking, yeah, like he himself is also okay with staying on his back because he's a good grappler. He isn't necessarily going to initiate it, but if it is initiated, will he's looking for sweeps, he's looking for subs, but he's also trying to conserve his energy. And I believe it's the Gillespie fight where he just can't keep up a high grappling pace. Let's see. Or you definitely see it start to wear on him. And I think Mateos is gonna have the edge there. And he gets beat by these grapplers. This fight against Benil, you know, Benil doesn't have the best gas tank, but in this fight they're constantly flip flopping, going back and forth, and you can see it starting to wear on him. So I like Mattel's here. I think he's gonna be good everywhere. Um, it's hard because I don't know who's gonna have the striking edge yet. You know, I'm gonna go with Mattel's though, the younger fighter here. Constant forward pressure, he level changes aggressively. Oh, I guess it is a little obvious when he wants to wrestle as he switches his stance, and it's obvious that that's when he wants to wrestle. Isn't the best at holding his opponent down. It doesn't have the biggest strikes. He's mainly like point striking, pitter patter, and he's got submission abilities, and he chain wrestles, which is great. He's relentless with the wrestling. He's pretty much relentless the whole time. He keeps it a high pace. So I'm going with Mattel's Gamrot here. But Diego Figueroa is, like I said, it's probably the hardest. This is the hardest fight for me. So Rafael Asansao versus Ricky Simone. This is the next fight. Damn it. Shoulder bottle of water in here. All this talking. We have two fights into the main card. Nice. See that. I'm going with Cub Swanson, man. Diego, no, Rafael Sunsao versus Ricky Simone. I'm going with Ricky Simone. Although Rafael, another very capable dog here, very capable. But I think Ricky's pace is just gonna be too much. It's gonna be too much. But I'm gonna start with Rafael. This is what I gotta read what's going on here. He uses his kicks. That he fights behind his kicks. He doesn't throw a lot of output. He wants to pick his shots. But he stays in kicking range, so his opponent has to cut the distance, and then he counters him. Even when on his heels, he has the ability to level change active when he's on top. Um, he's got good ground and pound, and he's really good at adjusting and flowing on the opponent as they're trying to get up. He's got good power in his strikes. I would say he's a power striker, but a better grappler. But he prefers to strike. He leaves his left hand low, open to a heavy right. It doesn't work to get up quickly. He'll lay on his back, and that's not a good thing against Ricky Simone, because he'll just, he'll take you down 5 times in the first round, and that's just gonna gas you. He's gonna have the power edge. I believe he's pretty similar to Ricky, kind of, but just way less output. He can be outworked in the scrambles as well. Just give up. So this, I'm gonna be going with Ricky here. He uses his feints to set up his takedowns and his punches. He's very active, constant pressure. He wants to box. That's the one thing. Ricky doesn't really throw any kicks, which worries me. But that also was gonna open up takedowns for Ricky. So he stays on the outside. He can be picked apart, and he does kind of lose his footwork as the fight goes on. Stands right in front of his opponent, but that's mainly because he wants that takedown, and he's relentless with the takedowns. He gets out jabbed, but he's gonna be the bigger fighter here. He's got a little bit of a stiff neck, but he's just constantly moving. Constantly, he wants to stay on his active feet, high pace, decent output. He'll throw like 3 punches most in his combos, and then he'll level change, just constantly going forward, you know, looking for better grappling positions. And then not a lot of power in his strikes, so I don't see Rafael getting knocked down. So I don't see a finish. So I'm gonna go with Ricky Simone. Rafael has got that knockout capability, and that minus 280 is kind of crazy. But Rafael's 40. Come on, Ricky, you gotta win this. You'll get the number 17 spot. And oh, wait a second, I'm just realizing, is this Ricky Simone's first fight at 135? Oh, what the hell? Has he always fought out? Oh, no, no, no. All right, okay. No, yeah, I'm sticking with Ricky Simone. But he did just fight Brian Kelleher. That's crazy, yo. I wish it would say when that fight was organized. Damn, that kind of makes me question that pick. No, 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 no. sticking with Ricky Simone. Sticking with Ricky. Rafael is. Have I picked any dogs yet? Damn, that might be a good dog, man. No, I'm sticking with Ricky. I'm sticking with Ricky. Yeah, Ricky shouldn't have the cardio. He has the motor to win the scrambles, and Rafael lay on his back a little too long. Ricky will get up if he gets put down. Yeah, I like Ricky. Ricky Simone. Simone. Let's go. Amanda Lemos versus Angela Hill. Oh man, this is one of those fights where you better win, Amanda. You know what I'm saying? Like, how are you? You can't, man. Angela Hill coming in on like a week's notice. It should be easy money. Amanda Lemos does fold under pressure. I've seen her lose to just forward pressure, because she can gas, but I think she can. I think she'll win this fight. the odds is kind of crazy, but that's what most of these favorites are kind of crazy. Heavy, she's got heavy leg kicks, fast hands, good counters, hands low, can gas to constant forward pressure. If kept on her heels against tough opponents, she will fold. Very explosive, can't be held up against the fence. Best way to beat her is to her opponent has to be tough and land tons of output. But I think Amanda Lemos in this fight, her speed would be there. It sounds like all I wrote was bad stuff about her, but I mean, everybody knows what she can do, I guess. So she's powerful. She's got powerful strikes. She's gonna be the more explosive fighter between the two. Damn, gotta get some water. Right back. Nah. Almost done here. Um, Angela Hill, she picks her shots. She's very slow. Has no head movement. Strikes from her hips. Um, lowers her right hand. Stands right in front of her opponents. Uses feints. Is tough. Uses her pressure and has cardio, but slow and not enough consistency or urgency or output. And she eats way too many punches. She's tough, so and pushes the pace, but she doesn't. She just doesn't throw enough. And I think Amanda Lemos here should get the win. Yeah, it's crazy though, cause Amanda's got everything to lose, besides maybe some clout from beating Angela Hill, but her ranking, she could lose her ranking. Oh, but I'm gonna go with Amanda Lemos. So one Amanda's got to win this month, right? Yes. Stephen Wonderboy Thompson versus Bilal Muhammad. I will be picking Bilal Muhammad. Uh, Bilal Stephen Wonderboy Thompson. Constant movement, stays on the outside, fights behind his kicks, hands very low, good cardio, pillow hands, point kicks, occasional killer kick, is open to a single leg, was taken down in the first round by Burns, and he was held down too. He just wasn't taken down; he was held down. He's susceptible to the body kick. My bad, to the body lock and change angle trip and controlled from then on. Um, Controlled in the last round as well. I mean, if the more takedowns you get on Wonder Boy, the easier it is to hold him down. But he does constantly try to get up. He does work for it, which is double-edged sword. Works against him. Bilal Muhammad, he uses his jabs. Uh, is He also likes to skate on the outside of the ring. Switches stances. Uses his kicks for range fighting, but not like Wonder Boy, obviously. Um, uses his feints. He uses feints. Looks to earn respect with the hands to make the takedowns easier. Solid output and pace, and I think that's what's going to be Wonder Boy here is going to be the output and the pace and the takedowns. That's all going to be enough to beat Wonder Boy. I think it's going to be a point fight, and there will be moments where Bilal holds down Stephen Wonderboy. I think he will be pushing for that takedown and hold him up against the fence. Look for the long leg, and then take him down because Stephen Wonderboy likes to have that wide stance up against the cage to hold himself up. So I think Bilal Muhammad here should win with the ability to grapple and will have good enough striking to compete. And will Bilal Muhammad. Now to the main event. Mr. Derek Lewis, Black Beast, swanging and banging. It's tempted to call this event that, but I'm gonna be going with Chris Dawkins. That's all I know. Hopefully, y'all know what that means. But let me see. Derek Lewis is tempting to pick him up at a plus 115, but I think that minus 140 on Chris Dawkins is where the value's at. I mean, he's gonna have the speed. He's 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 got all the momentum. Some people may call it hype. I think it's momentum. I think he's the more versatile, well-rounded fighter. He could get a choke if somehow it ends up happening. Did Derek Lewis knock out Alessi? I'm pretty sure he did, but it wasn't in the first round. And I'm pretty sure he was almost, yeah, it was in the second round. He almost lost in the first round. Derek Lewis has lead leg kicks, stiff left jab, power bomb, has the ability to throw opponents around, has strong ground and pound. So that's what's scary. If he ends up on top of Chris Dawkins, sheesh, scary situation. Uh, can grapple longer, can grapple, but he grapples longer than he should. Um, he reminds me of Def Jam Icon, the video game. I don't know why. Something to do with his music that he picks too. He's like Rick Ross. I don't know if y'all heard that song. Probably not. Has a flying knee ability, which sounds crazy, but the man can fly like Jordan. He uses it mainly to cut distance. He can be held down and controlled. Um, he picks his shots. That's the best way to describe it because he doesn't have a whole lot of output. Can be kept at a distance. Wants to fight inside the pocket in brawling range. He doesn't have a kicking distance attacks. He has some kicks, but he wants to land bombs. Doesn't have a whole lot of variety. He's a hit big, miss big type of fighter. Because he doesn't need follow up shots. He hits you. He's got a one shot executioner. He is an executioner. Um, he's got a hard time against long range stick and move fighters, technicians. It looks like the in the 5 round event, he'll probably give you like 40 punches. So I'm going with Chris Dawkins here. He's gonna have the speed. He's gonna have the straighter punches. So his punches are just he's gonna be able to throw 2, 3 punches before Derek Lewis is able to start swinging, and Chris Dawkins will probably get out the way by then. He does not mind moving out the way. He's got a good fast left hook, a good ground and pound, very accurate. He will have the speed advantage. Spams right hand and then lands heavy ninja left. Solid defensive grappling, good use of feints, fast counters, active hands. So he's constantly just waving around, using his hands. Um, Wants to box, not a whole lot of kicks, but that's how both of these fighters are. Like, I guess Derek Lewis might have a kicking advantage, but not really. Um, he uses his feints to draw out his opponent's attacks. So that's gonna be perfect. That's what at first it's gonna make Derek Lewis wanna punch, and then it's gonna make him shell up. Uh, he's definitely a live by the sword type of fighter. He's gonna have more output and good power and more speed. So he's he's what Derek Lewis wishes he was. So I'm gonna go with Chris Dawkins here. Yeah, Chris Dawkins to represent Philly. I think that's about it, right? Yep, that was it right there. Uh, that's it. Made it with an hour to spare. So I'm going with, let's start from the bottom. I'm going with Matt Sells. I'm going with Dontel Mays, Raquel Pennington, Charles Jourdain, Melissa Gatto as my first underdog, Justin Tafa, Dustin Stolfitz as my second underdog, Cub Swanson. Damn, I really want to. I'm so tempted to pick Diego, but Mateos Gamrot, Ricky Simone, uh, oh, let me repeat that. Diego Ferreira versus Mateos Gamrot. I'm going with Gamrot. Rafael versus Ricky Simone. I'm going with Ricky. Amanda Lemos versus Angela Hill. I'm going with Amanda Lemos. Stephen Wonderboy Thompson versus Bilal Muhammad. I'm going with Bilal Muhammad. Derek Lewis versus Chris Dawkins. I'm going Chris Dawkins. And yeah, that's all I know. The way it's got to go. And it's all about the aura they project and the ultimate connection of strikes. But yeah, see you later on this DJ Jazzy Jeff joint from the Fresh Prince Gambino. This is Champs Focus. See you later. Good luck.